So, hello, and here we are back with another unboxing of another fat pack, or actually deck builders toolkit in this case, and it's not a fat pack. And it is the 2014 core set. So it contains 284 cards, and it was released in 2013. And let's take a look at what it says that it contains. We've got 125 semi-randomized cards suitable for building several magic decks, 4 15-card booster packs from a variety of recent Magic the Gathering sets, 100 basic land cards to help you cast your spells, deck builder's guide with tips about building the best Magic decks, and Magic Learn to Play guide, and full art reusable card storage box. Now we did the 2012 one yesterday, and that was a really interesting one because it did contain a lot more information on how to build decks, unlike the more recent ones that we did, which were Chet and Shadows over Innistrad. And yesterday I also got a lot of Innistrad cards, which means that I've been able to finish my cube, my Innistrad cube, using cards from Innistrad through the ages, as it were. So let's see what we have. If I'm not mistaken, this is Chandra. And okay, yeah, now we're talking. This is also a full art box, which I really like. The box again is serviceable. This is 11 years old at this stage. We'll see if it smells as old cardboardy as the last one, which is kind of, you know, like nice. It gives me. Ah, yes, it does. You can tell that it's old. So let's see. We have our guides first. You are a planeswalker, so it basically explains what the game is. It gives you information about the different mana types, and with images of different planeswalkers. So that's Ajani, that's Jace, that's Liliana, that's Chandra. And I know who he is, but I forget his name, unfortunately. It tells you again how the battlefield works. So it's reminiscent of what we saw last time, and yes, this is exactly how the other one worked. So this is a really good piece of information on how to play the game. So a lot better than the more recent ones that we unboxed. And then here we have the deck building information. With information on different themed decks. So sacrifice, red and black give you the tools to build a deck that sacrifices its own inexpensive creatures for advantage. This strategy starts by attacking with small creatures and then using cards like Gnawing Zombie and Barrage of Expendables to continue whittling away at your opponent's life total. You want to include creatures that give you bonuses when they die or can come back from the graveyard. Then Library Depletion, that's blue. I really like what they have done, and again we see the different versions here. We've got green and white, blue, red and black, and if you're hearing this noise, yes, this is my crazy neighbor. Green and red, blue and white, white and green, white and green, red, white, green, blue, and black control. So this is very interesting, and I'm actually going to read these because I really like what they've done with the rules there. And let's see what we've got. We've got Ravnica as a booster, Gate Crash, 2013 core set and 2014 core set. So that's interesting. We've got these 4 boosters that we're going to look at. But first we're going to take a look at the pre-constructed or preset content. So let's start as usual with the lands. And let's zoom in. Yeah, we've seen these before, so these are from M14. We've seen this one before. This one doesn't look familiar. This one seems to be new. I think these two we haven't seen yet, so these two are new. Some of these are new as well from these. I believe this island is new. This is a swamp we've already seen. Okay, so this is a mix. So some of these are reprints. This spiky mountain I've definitely not seen before. This is also a new forest, and this is a new forest, and then of course they repeat. So I'll have to check which ones I need to add to my collection. Then the Trans-Guild Promenade, which is a land which enters the battlefield tapped, and when it enters, you can sacrifice it, or you have to sacrifice it unless you pay 1 mana. But then when you tap it, you can add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Voracious Worm. So this is the green-white combo. It's a 2/2, and you put X number of +1/+1s on it, and X represents the number of life points you have gained during this round. Angelic Accord. At the beginning of each end step, if you gained 4 or more life this turn, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Congregate, an instant. The player gains 2 life for each creature on the battlefield. So you would play this one, and then the Angelic Accord would actually work for you. Unflinching Courage, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has trample and lifelink. Centaur Healer, it's a cleric. These are actually colored or dual colored cards, green and white. When Centaur Healer enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Soul Mender, you gain 1 life if you tap it. Brindle Boar, it's a boar, and if you sacrifice it, you gain 4 life. Tell the cooks to prepare the fires. Tonight we feast. Tola Wolf Brother, Croson Tracker. Dawnstrike Paladin. Vigilance, lifelink. She crushes darkness beneath her charge's hooves. Beautiful imagery again. Here we've got somebody who's kind of like a druid. Predator's Rapport. Other guilds say the Gruul are savages, no better than the beasts we live with. I say we found friends who won't stab us in the back. Domri Rad. Choose target creature you control. You gain life equal to that creature's power plus its toughness. Very nice. Divine Favor. Enchant creature. When Divine Favor enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. So you can definitely see these are life-gaining cards. Enchanted creature gets +1/+3. With an Armory of Light, even the Squire may champion her people. Trans-Guild Promenade, we've seen this before. So now we have the blue-red deck. Syncopate, This is something that I know quite well because it's also in the most recent Innistrad. Counter target spell unless its controller pays X. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. Patience Mage. Killing you now would be too easy. Gutter Snipe. Creature Goblin Shaman. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Gutter Snipe deals 2 damage to each opponent. So basically you want it just basically lying there. It's a 2/2, but you know, even just being on the battlefield means you can activate it. He wants to watch Ravnica burn, 1 soul at a time. You don't even have to use him to attack. Izzet Charm. Choose one. Counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. Or Izzet Charm deals 2 damage to target creature or draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. So you have 3 things that you can choose from. Blast of Genius. Choose target creature or player. Draw 3 cards, then discard a card. Blast of Genius deals damage equal to the discarded card's converted mana cost to that creature or player. Goblin Electromancer. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less. So you play it and then it helps you casting in future, and we've got him again. Essence Backlash. Counter target creature spell. Essence Backlash deals damage equal to that spell's power to its controller. Whoop. Nivix Cyclops Defender. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Nivix Cyclops gets +3/+0 whenever. Until the end of turn. And can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. Very nice. Explosive Impact. Explosive Impact deals 5 damage to target creature or player. We like that. Such boorish noise is what passes for subtle among the Boros. Vraska. Chandra's Outrage. Now Chandra is the lady on the box. She's a planeswalker. Chandra's Outrage deals 4 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. We like that spell. I play red, just in case you were wondering. Steel Form Sliver. Sliver creatures you control get +0/+1. Though the slivers may sometimes resemble us, they are not human. Anyone who fights them must remember this. Salina, Paladin of the Northern Verge. Battle Sliver. That's one of those slivers that are not human. Sliver creatures you control get +2/+0. One emitted a strange series of buzzing clicks and guttural commands. Then clawed arms emerged from all of them. Is there no limit to their adaptations? Hastrick, Thumian Scout, and another battle sliver. A mana weft sliver. Creature, sliver. Sliver creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I see in their interconnectedness a strange embodiment of the natural order, Dionysus, Elvish Archdruid. Predatory Sliver. Sliver creatures you control get +1/+1. No matter how much the slivers change, their collective might remains. And then we've got a Sentinel Sliver. Sliver creatures you control have Vigilance. Having said this, we get quite a lot of slivers in this, which is nice. You could use this kind of like, it's not enough to build a tribal deck, but you know, it's a nice start. Sliver creatures you control have Vigilance. Attacking doesn't cause them to tap. Through its watchful gaze, all slivers may see. Striking Sliver. Sliver creatures you control have First Strike. You're too busy recoiling in fear to realize that it's already hit you. Blue Sliver. Sliver creatures you control have Haste. They move in a synchronized swarm, turning entire squads into heaps of bloody rags and bones in an instant. And lastly, the Groundshaker Sliver. Sliver creatures you control have Trample. Very much. It's a green card, so that makes perfect sense. Transguild Promenade. Gnawing Zombie. So that's now the black-red combo. Sacrifice a creature, target player loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. On still nights, you can hear its rotted teeth grinding tirelessly on scavenged bones. Barrage of Expendables, enchantment. Pay a red mana, sacrifice a creature. Barrage of Expendables deals 1 damage to target creature or player. That's quite expensive for, well, I mean, it can take you over the edge. If your opponent only has 1 life left, by all means, go ahead, sacrifice a creature and kill him. Tenacious Dead. When Tenacious Dead dies, you may pay 1 and a black one. If you do, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Raising the bones of Hekyek the Mad proved far easier than getting them to lie back down again. Goblin Rally. Sorcery, put 4 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. You don't so much hire goblins as put ideas in their heads. Act of Treason. Sorcery, gain control of target creature until the end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until the end of turn. So what this means is creatures that come onto the battlefield when they are first cast have summoning sickness, which means that they can defend, but they cannot attack. Now, what you can do is you can play a creature and then you can play this sorcery and make this creature have haste, which means it can, on this particular turn, already attack. Rage courses in every heart, yearning to betray its rational prison. Sarchan Vol. Blood Baron. That is a child of blood. That's Scottish. Creature vampire. Sacrifice another creature. Blood Baron gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. The travellers were warned to watch out for children on the road. If you've ever seen Near Dark, this will mean something to you. Pitchburn Devils. When Pitchburn Devils dies, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. The ingenuity of goblins, the depravity of demons, and the smarts of sheep. So you want to attack with this one, because if then your opponent decides to counter, they will take damage regardless. So, Festering Newt. When Festering Newt dies, target creatures an opponent control, 1 target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until the end of turn. That creature gets -4/-4 instead. If you control a creature named Bog Brew Witch, its back bubbles like a witch's cauldron, and it smells just as vile. Drainpipe Vermin. When Drainpipe Vermin dies, you may pay 1 black mana. If you do, target player discards a card. When times are tough, the poor eat the rats. When times are tougher, the rats eat the poor. And lastly, Altar's Reap. Again, beautiful artwork. As an additional cost to cast Altar's Reap, sacrifice a creature. You draw 2 cards. Don't worry, your death will be as informative as possible. Gorhul, Augur of Skulls. That's, again, one of the ones you pay 1 and 2, and then you sacrifice a creature. Sorry, you pay 1/1, and then you sacrifice a creature to draw 2 cards. You must be very desperate to play this. Okay, next up. We've seen this card before, Pacifism. And again, Hive Stirrings. I've not seen this before. Put 2 1/1 colorless Sliver creature tokens onto the battlefield. Sliver young are sorted into clutches according to their potential and their future roles. Human scholars can only guess how those are determined. Seller of Songbirds. When Seller of Songbirds enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Lady Wren is the one merchant in Keyhole Downs who isn't running a scam. Mirella, Azorius Hussar. Fortify. Choose 1. Creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn, or creatures you control get +0/+2 until the end of turn. Where metal is tainted and wood is scarce, we are best armed with faith. Tavalis, Acolyte of Collis. Master of Diversion. Whenever Master of Diversion attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. Choose your battles carefully. For example, avoid the big guy. Good. That's a good suggestion. Assault Griffin. Creature Griffin flying. The Simic offer a prize to any biomancer who can breed a Crassus to match a griffin in the air. It's never been claimed. Libusche, Boros Sergeant. Dawnstrike Paladin. We saw her before. She's the one who crushes the darkness beneath her charger's hoofs. Avenging arrow. Destroy target creature that dealt damage this turn. Forgive the theft. Punish the deception. Capuchin Knight. First strike. If you pay 1 and 1 white, Capuchin Knight gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. He protects Benalia as much with his reputation as with his force of arms. Sunspire Griffin. Flying. For each griffin wounded by an arrow, there is a corpse with a bow nearby. Peljivia, Voyak Investigator. Angelic Wall. I mean, I love the art on this one as well. Defender, flying. This creature can't attack. The air stirred as if fanned by angels' wings, and the enemy was turned aside. Tales of Ikarov the Voyager. Griffin Sentinel. Flying, vigilance. Once a Griffin Sentinel adopts a territory as its own, only death can force it to betray its post. Suntail Hawk. They are the finest companions in the realm. Swift, clever, and easily trained to hunt intruders. Almira, Falconer. Serra Angel. We've seen them before. Flying, vigilance. Follow the light. In its absence, follow her. Blessing. Enchanter creature. Enchanter creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Virtue can't survive without strength. Ardana of the Angelic Council. Paralyzing Grasp. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Yes, we've seen this in Innistrad as well. Obviously, the Firemind's mission is worth more than a few goblins. Pelinair, Chamberlain of Niv Mizzet. Divination. Draw 2 cards. The key to unlocking this puzzle is within you. Doriel, Mentor of Mistral Isle. Frost Breath. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. I'll make ice chimes of your bones. Archaeomancer, I think we've seen this as well. When Archaeomancer enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Words of power never disappear. They sleep, awaiting those with the will to rouse them. And again, Windrake, flying creature. Air currents whip through the city corridors, creating wind tunnels that accelerate urban drakes towards their prey. Void Wielder. When he enters the battlefield, you may return target creature to its owner's hand. He makes up his own laws, and that's dangerous to all who love peace and prosperity. Kill him on sight. Mirella Azorius Hussar, Stealer of Secrets. Whenever Stealer of Secrets deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. The Dimir would hire her, if only they knew where she lived. The Azorius would condemn her, if only they knew her name. Messenger Drake. When Messenger Drake dies, draw a card. The more important the message, the larger the messenger. Seacoast Drake. Seacoast Drakes have been known to follow ships for hundreds of miles, waiting to snap up garbage baits and the occasional sailor. Doorkeeper. It's a homunculus. You can pay 2 and 1 blue and tap. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard, where X is the number of creatures with defender you control. 1 piercing stare usually convinces thieves to go elsewhere. It's a 0/4. Cancel. Counter target spell. Disperse. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Griffith found his way home and resumed life as best he could, constantly hiding his newfound fear of clouds. Tome Scour. Target player puts the top 5 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I hope none of those were important. Opportunity. Instant. Target player draws 4 cards. Opportunity isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Skyline Predator. It's a Drake. Flash. You may cast this spell anytime you could cast an instant. So basically on your opponent's attack, you could play this. Since it doesn't have haste, you can't do anything with it unless you have another spell that you can cast that gives it haste. But you could use it to block, of course, because Summoning Sickness means it can still block. And it's got flying. It'll dodge your first arrow and flatten you before there's a second. Alcaris, Selesnian Archer. Ring Flesh. Target creature gets -3/-1. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I can't interpret the art. You shouldn't be so attached to something as fragile as flesh, says Zul Ashur, Lich Lord. Well, he would say that, he's a Lich Lord. Mind Rot, we've seen this before. Target player discards 2 cards. Festering Newt, we've seen this as well. Stab Wound, it's just a scratch. Enchantment Aura, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -2/-2 at the beginning of the upkeep of enchanted creature's controller. That player loses 2 life. We like this card. Duress. It hurts more if you think about it. Hooks, Cabal Torturer. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Liturgy of Blood. It's a bit dark. I find it difficult to make it out. Is he standing on a snake? Destroy target creature. Add 3 mana to your 3 black mana to your mana pool. We like this card. You harbor such vast potential. It would be such a shame to let you die of old age. Zul Azur, Lich Lord. And again, Child of Night. Lifelink, creature. Vampire. Sins that would be too gruesome in the light of day are made more pleasing in the dark of night. Okay. Nightwing Shade. Oh, beautiful artwork again. Flying Nightshade. Nightwing Shade gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. There's 1 hour of the night even we do not watch. Sedva, Captain of the Watch. Accursed Spirit. Intimidate. This must be beautiful in foil. Intimidate. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or creatures that share a color with it. Okay, interesting. Many have heard the slither of dragging armor and the soft squelch of its voice, but only its victims ever meet its icy gaze. Corpse Hauler. You pay 2 and 1 black mana and you sacrifice it, return another target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. He expects a reward, but the only piece of silver he'll get from me is my blade in his gut. Shellac, Necromancer. Death Gaze Cockatrice. Flying, Death Touch. Sometimes I come across a stony finger or foot and I know I'm in cockatrice territory. So any amount of damage this deals to a creature is enough to destroy it. Drainpipe Vermin, we've seen this before, it's the rats eating the poor. Minotaur Abomination. It's a simple Minotaur for 4 +2 black and for 4/6. Look at that. Shuffling, wobbling, entrails placed haphazardly. It's shameful. Who would let that kind of work flap about for all to see? Lestin, Necromancer. So this Necromancer thinks he could have done better. Doomblade. Destroy target non-black creature. Bam. Simple. Corrupt. Corrupt deals damage equal to the number of swamps you control to target creature or player. What? Oh, Corrupt deals damage equal to the number of swamps you controlled to target creature or player. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. I like this card. 1 misstep in the swamp, and the evil that sleeps beneath will rise to find you. Shock. Shock deals 2 damage to target creature or player. Do it twice. Act of treason. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. It can attack and tap this turn. Rage courses in every heart, yearning to betray its rational prison. Sarkhan Vol. Chandra's Outrage. Chandra again is the lady from the from the box. Chandra's Outrage deals 4 damage to target creature and 2 damage to that creature's controller. Chandra never believed in using her inside voice. Annihilating Fire deals 3 damage to target creature or player. If a creature dealt damage this way would die, this turn exile it instead. The most impressive performances can be done only once. Moat, Rakdol's Madcap. Seismic Stomp. Creature without flying can't block this turn. Oh, creatures without flying can't block this turn. It is not in me to tread lightly. Rider, Geomancer. Goblin, Shortcutter. When Goblin Shortcutter enters the battlefield, target creatures can't block this turn. I'm not running away. I'm figuring out the best route. Regathan Firecat. 4/1. It stalks the Regathan Highlands, leaving behind melted snow, scorched earth, and the charred corpses of would-be temple robbers. Pitchburn Devils. When Pitchburn Devils dies, it deals 3 damage. Yeah, that we saw this before. Vyashino Racketeer. When it enters the battlefield, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. You may call me a fool, selling the stuff on Orzhov turf. Well, you need to be a little reckless to survive. Blue sliver again. Blur sliver again. Sliver creatures you control have haste. We saw this before. And dragon hatchlings. It's a hatchling. Dragon hatchling gets +1/+0 until end of turn if you pay 1 additional red. Those dragons grow fast. For a while they feed on squirrels and goblins, and then suddenly you're missing a mammoth. Herdok, Mazar mammoth trainer. Speaking from experience. Tenement Crasher. Creature beast haste. Nothing was going to stop it. Not the narrow alleys, not the Boros garrison, and certainly not the 4-story Orzhov cathedral. I think Orzhov is Ravnica related. Riot Piker. First strike, Riot Piker attacks each turn if able. He doesn't care whether he's rioting about trade rights or just having a drunken brawl. He wakes up every morning eager to smash some heads. Every morning he wakes up and chooses violence. Gutter Snipe, we've seen it before. Flames of the Firebrand. Flames of the Firebrand deals 3 damage divided as you choose among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures and or players. You're in luck. I brought enough to share. Chandra Nalar. Centaur's Herald. Elf Scout 0/1. Pay 2 and 1 green. Sacrifice it. Put a 3/3 green Centaur creature token onto the battlefield. That's good. The farther they go from Vitu-Ghazi, the less willing the crowd is to part for them. Predatory Sliver. We've seen it before. Kraul Warrior. It's an insect warrior. The insectile Kraul lurk in the tunnels below street level. Many are loyal to the Golgari swarms. That's definitely Ravnica. But others follow their own esoteric caste system. If you pay 5 and a green one, Kraul Warrior gets +3/+3. That's expensive until the end of turn. Aerial Predation. Destroy target creature with flying and you gain 2 life. In the towering trees of Samok stand and the predators that guard them. What? In the towering trees of the Samok stand and the predators that guard them, the might of the Ravnican wild has returned. Okay. Weird sentence. Elvish Mystic, Elf Druid. Okay, you can get green mana, life grows everywhere. My kin merely finds those places where it grows strongest. Nissa Rivan. And again, Deadly Recluse. Spider. Reach, Death Touch, Even Dragon Spirit, Silken Strands. Brindleboar, we've seen it before. Spore Mound. Fungus. My partner in crime loves fungus cards. If you threaten its territory, it produces spores. Actually, no matter what you do, it produces spores. Hardy Carsten, Carladale Naturalist. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 sup-rolling creature token onto the battlefield. Rumbling Baloth. It's simply a beast, 4/4. In the dim light beneath the vast trees of deep glade, Baloths prowl in search of prey. Their guttural calls are more felt than heard, but their attack scream carries for miles. Giant Growth. Creatures get +3/+3. It's a spell that I've seen before, but with different artwork. Trollhide. Enchant Creature. Enchant Creature gets +2/+2 and has 1 in green. Regenerate this creature. The next time the creature would be destroyed this turn, it isn't. Instead, tap it, remove all damage from it, and remove it from combat. Hunt the Weak. Put a +1/+1 on target creature you control. Then that creature fights target creature you don't control. Each deals damage equal to its power to the other. He who hesitates is lunch. Axebane Stag. It's an elk. 6/7. Whoopsie. When the spires have burned and the cobblestones are dust, he will take his rightful place as King of the Wilds. Curse. Axebane Guardian. Briarpax Alpha. Flash. You may cast a spell anytime you could cast an instant, so you can bring it in on your opponent's attack on you. and you can actually then use it to block. When Briarpack Alpha enters the battlefield, target creature gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. So you can block with it, and you can also add +2/+2 to someone. One of my greatest teachers, Garuk Wildspeaker. Howl of the Night Pack, sorcery. Put a 2/2 green wolf creature token onto the battlefield for each forest you control. The murderous horrors of Raven's Run are legendary, but even that haunted place goes quiet when the night wolves howl. Sliver Construct, artifact. Slivers destroy those who come close to the skep, the central hive. Shards of torn metal litter the ground as a warning to any artificers inquisitive about the hive's inner workings. It's an artifact creature, 2/2. And then we've got lands and more lands. Okay, put them to the side. And now it's time to break open the boosters. We'll start with the 2013 core set. Oh, the Pillarfield Ox. We've seen it before. It's simply an ox. Unsummon, seen this one before. Plummet as well. Trumpet Blast I haven't seen. Attacking creatures get +2/+0 until the end of turn. Keldon warriors don't need signals to tell them when to attack. They need signals to tell them when to stop. Erase. Exile target enchantment. Don't trust your eyes, for mages are skilled in deception. Trust only in your faith. It will wipe everything clean. Lila, or Lila. Irunian Priest. Index. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, then put them back in any order. What good is having... Yeah, we've seen this before. Divine Verdict. Yeah, destroy target attacking or blocking creature. Guilty, we've seen this before. Battleflight Eagle. When it enters, it's a 2/2. Target creature gets 2/2 and gains flying until the end of turn. Eagles make fine mounts, but they're too proud to carry anyone for long. Not till the ends of the earth. Serpent's Gift. Instant. That's Yig in action. Target creature gains death touch until the end of turn. Venom is nature's way of redressing the imbalance between the weak and the mighty. Duty-bound Dead. Skeleton. Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1 until the end of turn. Regenerate Duty-bound Dead for 3 and 1 black. The next time this creature would be destroyed this turn, it isn't. Instead, tap it, remove all damage from it, and remove it from combat. Sleep. Sorcery. Tap all creatures target player controls. I really love the imagery. They don't untap during the next player's untap step. It gives them dreams so wondrous that they hesitate to return to the world of the conscious. Garrel Merfolk Mage. Duskmantle Prowler. Vampire Rogue. Haste. Exalted. Elixir. Artifact. You gain 5 life if you tap it and pay 2. Shuffle Elixir of Immortality and your graveyard into the owner's library. That's brilliant. Bottled life. Not as tasty as I'm used to. Rather stale, but it has the same effect. Baron Sengir. Spelltwine. Exile target instant or sorcery. From an opponent's graveyard, copy those cards. Cast the copies if able without paying their mana costs. Exile Spelltwine. Okay. Exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard and target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. Copy those cards. Okay. We've got a Drake token. And we've got a forest. (2014) core set. Capuchin Knight. First strike. Pay 1 and 1 white. Caption Knight gets +1/+0 till the end of turn. He protects Benalia as much. Yeah, we've seen it before. Essence Scatter, we've seen it before. Counter target creature spell. Seismic Stomp, we've seen it before. Undead Minotaur. And we haven't seen this one. The work that went into creating this magnificent specimen. Horrific, deadly, well balanced. Not all necromancers do elegant work like this. Less than Necromancer, 2/3. Archaeomancer, we've seen this. Giant Spider. Reach. It's 2/4. It has a quickness about it that seems unnatural for its large size, yet its hunger is about right. Endril, Colonian Naturalist. Cancel. Counter target spell. Wild Guess. As an additional cost to cast Wild Guess, discard a card. Draw 2 cards. No guts, no glory. Canyon Minotaur, that's the one where you shouldn't go through the canyon because that's where they live. Charging Griffin, very nice, flying. Beautiful card again. Whenever Charging Griffin attacks, it gets +2/+2 until the end of turn. 4 claws, 2 wings, 1 beak, no fear. Accorder's Shield. It's an artifact equipment. The equipped creature gets +0/+3 and has vigilance. Equip 3. An Aureok shield is polished to a mirror finish even on the inside, enabling its bearer to watch foes ahead and behind. That's very nifty. Staff of the Sun Magus. Whenever you cast a white spell or a planes enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Hey, we want this card. A symbol of conviction in uncertain times. Sengia Vampire, we've seen this before. Dismiss into Dream. Beautiful imagery. It's an enchantment, and the each creature your opponents control is an illusion in addition to its other types, and has, when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. You trust in the shadows of a breeze. Okay. Each creature your opponent controls is an illusion in addition to its other types, and has, when this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. Okay, so you basically enchant your opponent's creatures, and when they try to cast spells on their own creatures, they have to sacrifice them instead. And an island. And then we have Ravnica and Gatecrash. We'll take the Gatecrash first. Way of the Thief, Enchantment Aura, enchanted creature gets +2/+2. Enchanted creature is unblockable as long as you control a gate. A true shortcut isn't a way other people don't know. It's a way other people can't go. A true shortcut isn't a way other people don't know. It's a way other people can't go. Okay, Spire Tracer. Elf Scout Spire Tracer can't be blocked except by a creature with flying or reach. Cartographers on Ravnica chart not just the horizontal but also the vertical. Syndic of Tides, Extort. Whenever you cast a spell, you may pay either 1 black or 1 white, and if you do, each opponent loses 1 life you gain that much life. Entrance is free. Donations are required. Novice outside Vizcopa Bank. Paranoid Delusions. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. Cipher. Then you may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. Okay, so you basically copy the creature that you have put this Paranoid Delusion onto. Voyek Halberdiers Battalion. Whenever Voyek Halberdiers and at least 2 other creatures attack, Voyek Halberdiers gains first strike. Tired of Boros interference, the Rakdos unleashed Hellraiser goblins, hoping their corpses would weigh down the halberds. Slate Street Ruffian. Whenever the opponent blocks this card, they have to discard a card. Merciless to the point of psychosis. Let's give him a job. Zelina's Oz of Recruiter. Oz of Guildgate. Okay, that's a land gate. If you control this, then if you remember, this card says enchanted creature is unblockable as long as you control a gate. So a gate is actually a form of land from Gate Crashers. Enter to find wealth, security, and eternal life, or just a small price up front. And what are you? Adaptive Snapjaw. That looks like it's a giant lizard. Evolve. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if that creature has greater power and toughness than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, that's going to be hard. Needs more toad. Gulistan, Simic Biomancer. Bomber Corps Battalion. Whenever Bomber Corps and at least 2 other creatures attack, Bomber Corps deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Subtlety is for law mages and spies. Midnight Recovery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Cipher. Then you may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. So you basically copy a creature. Arrows of Justice. Instant Arrows of Justice deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Archers from the Horizon Military Academy hone their skills by targeting pickpockets, blocks away. So it's a red or white spell. Dying Wish. Enchant creature you control. When enchanted creature dies, target player loses X life and you gain X life where X is its power. I wish I could rewrite my every deed and kill you with my first breath instead of my last. Wasteland Viper. Death Touch. Blood Rush. Green. Discard Wasteland Viper. A target attacking creature gets +1/+2 and gains Death Touch until the end of turn. The Gruul embrace all things poisonous and living in the cracks of society. Teysa Karlov, Grand Envoy of Orzhov. Foundry Champion. Creature Elemental Soldier. When Foundry Champion enters the battlefield, it deals damage to a target creature or player equal to the number of creatures you control. You can pay 1 red and Foundry Champion gets +1/+0, or you can pay 1 white, Foundry Champion gets +0/+1. And a forest, this is a new one that we don't have yet. And a card. And lastly, we have Return to Ravnica. Obviously there were Ravnica cards in this one as well. Whoops. Cancel. It's what blue players do. They just say no. It is forbidden. Asking why is irrelevant. Cobblebrute. Elemental. The most ancient streets take on a life of their own. A few have decided to move to nicer neighborhoods. The streets have decided to move to nicer neighborhoods. Vassal Soul. I have no idea what I'm looking at. It's a spirit. For the Azorius, the opportunity to serve the law is too great an honor for death to interrupt. Dagger Drome Imp. Flying, lifelink. One of the many reasons why open-air markets close at dusk. Doorkeeper, Homunculus, we've seen it before. Rakdos Guildgate, another gate. Enter and indulge your darkest fantasies, for you may never pass this way again. Axebane Guardian. Only a worthy few are permitted within the sentient forests known as Axebane. Downsize. Target creatures you don't control gets -0/-4 until the end of turn. Overload. For 2 and 1 blue, you may cast a spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text to replacing all instances of target with each. Oh, so you can, if you pay 2 of any color and 2 blue ones, you can actually do this to each creature that you don't control. Concordia Pegasus. Flying. A kick from its hooves is like a bolt of lightning. I'd know. I've been hit by both. Renzek. Is it Chemist's Aid? Fall of the Gavel. Instant. Counter target spell. You gain 5 life. My ruling is final. Order is upheld. Justice is done. Ultimate price. Destroy target mono-colored creature. Let him be an example to others who would default on their debts to us. The Cozen, Orzhov Assassin. Rakdor's Rage Mutt. It's an elemental hound, lifelink, haste. Rage Mutts pull the chariots of the butcher clowns, a trio of wingless zombified fairies formerly of the Izzet. I don't really want to meet them. Pack Rat. Pack Rat's power and toughness are each equal to the number of rats you control. Discard a card. And pay 2 and 1 black. Put a token onto the battlefield. That's a copy of Pack Rat. We've got a bird token. We've got a swamp that we haven't seen before. And we've got one beautiful, really beautiful foil card, Azorius Arrester. I'm going to keep this for my collection because it is super beautiful. You have the right to remain silent, mostly because I tire of your excuses. Okay, so that was the 2013 Magic the Gathering. No, it was actually the 2014 core set, released in 2013 Deck Builders Toolkit. And I hope you enjoyed it, and join me again when we unbox another one. Talk to you soon. Bye.